Hello everyone, it's Suhashani here and I'm going to do my first book video. Woo! I'm sorry in advance if I'm being really awkward and just being really weird because this is all new to me, and in the back of my head I'm literally like, am I actually doing this? Like, is this happening right now? I really do love books. It sounded weird when I said that. When I was a kid, I definitely was a reader, but then in the middle when we had to start reading literature for the sake of exams like GCSEs and all that stuff, that was probably the time when I just was not good at English and I didn't like reading at all, and I just didn't like any of that. But now that I've gotten older, I have come back to reading. If there are people out there who are struggling to kind of get into reading, or they don't know what they want to read, or they're just like, oh, reading's a waste of time and all this stuff, or they really do want to get into it, I wanted to do the 3 books that changed my life, because these could be really good starter books for anyone who wants to get into the habit of reading. I haven't seen the other 2. I've seen one of them being recommended by a lot of people, but I haven't seen the other 2 being recommended, and all 3 of them have really helped me in terms of giving me a positive mindset and also understanding spirituality, because I'm on that wavelength. These are the types of books that you can always go to. They're not going to just stay in your room on your bookshelf and you're never going to touch it again. They're definitely books that you can relive their pages. So yeah, I just thought I would talk about them, and I will leave a blog post about these books as well, so anything that I'm missing out or I'm just not explaining very well, I will literally write it all out, so you can go and read that if you want to. So wow, well done for doing the intro and not being awkward. Well done, Suhashani. Okay, I forgot to mention, obviously I just don't want to waffle on and I don't want to bore people, and I want to make sure that I'm sticking to the point of the book and not talking crap. So I actually have written down notes in my notebook, but if I'm looking down, yeah, that's why, so I'm sorry if that bothers you. The first book that I'm going to recommend is this. It's 365 Tao Meditations. I haven't really seen people recommend this book, and I don't know if anyone has, but it definitely is a good one, especially if you want to gain clarity and you want to kind of dive into spirituality and you just want to find inner peace in yourself, in anything you're doing and you're going through life and you're feeling so many emotions. This is really good. After you read a page, I feel much better. I feel more at rest and more still and more positive about my whole day. So what is this book about? Tao, or Taoism, is a philosophy or a religious belief whereby you live in harmony with nature and everything around us, everything between us and other living organisms. We are all basically one. It's that, or obviously it's a much bigger and deeper concept, and I'm trying to narrow it down to sentences, but it is that, and it's about the cosmic force bringing all of us together and how we should all be living in harmony. You should just be at one with everything and anything. Oh, and another good thing of me explaining it is Taoism, you have to be in flow. You know how there's a saying, go with the flow with everything in life? It's ultimately that. You have to be, was that like a awkward? Okay. It ultimately is that you have to be at one with everything that's going on, whether that's good or whether that's bad. You just, so if something good happens and you're really happy about it, of course you are happy and you express joy, but you're just kind of, it's the same reaction as if something bad has happened to you. You're flowing. You just move with the flow. It's a difficult thing to explain, but this definitely, I had no idea what it was, and it was only after I got this book I started kind of getting into it, and that was when I realized, oh, so it's about nature and it's about living in harmony with everything, and it's about being one with the universe, and it's about flowing through the cosmic energy of everything, because we are all one. Above all of that, it gives you peace. It makes you feel more at ease with everything that's happening, especially if you feel as though life isn't going according to plan and you feel as though you can't get your crap together and all of that stuff. This is the type of philosophy where you can just put your mind at ease to just go with what everything else is going with, you know, just go with the flow. So yeah, so that's basically Taoism. Now, in terms of the actual book, I absolutely love the structure of it. And the reason why is because it's called 365. It's one meditation per day. So you can either read, let's say page 59, it's day 59, you're going to read Source. So you can read one page every morning and it will just give you kind of a good start and direction to your day. But also what you can do is you can literally just read it as a storybook too. It tackles every emotion or every phase of life or any kind of mood you're feeling. It literally has a page for that. You feel as though you want to have a rebirth, boom, page 1, the beginning. Oh my god, I completely forgot. Look, page 139, marriage. And the way it's structured is you've got the emotion, you've got a poem which will kind of give you some sort of something to think about to do with that emotion or that phase, and then you've got a long paragraph on what the poem is trying to express to you and how it's trying to kind of make you see another perspective of what you're feeling. And I think that's really good, because in the beginning when I feel a certain way, like if I'm feeling angry or upset or disappointed or just not confident, I will go to that specific page and I will read that, and then afterwards I will just feel a different way. I will have obtained a different perspective, and it just gives me clarity, and I'm just like, wow, this is good, this is impactful. So I would highly recommend it. Specific pages that I have recommended, really like this quote, and I'm gonna say it for anyone who needs to hear it. Accept what comes your way without doubt and without fear. A lot of people might already know or have seen or recognize the cover is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So this is basically one of those success habits kind of book. It's really good. It really tackles different areas that people struggle with. So for example, procrastination is about fear of rejection, fear of failure, even talks about failure, and it's a really good book overall. It's the type of book where if you're feeling down, you've faced a rejection, gone through a failure, and you just need to pick me up and you need to get back on your feet, this is literally a book you need to read, because this was a book that I read when I was going through that and I found it incredibly helpful. It definitely shifted my mindset and reignited my spark in chasing my goals and being more positive, and also understanding that things aren't gonna happen just like that. There's no such thing as an overnight success. There are different levels to your hard work and different levels and different steps to achieving like a big win. So this definitely gives you perspective on that. I would recommend it for any person who's like in their 20s and we are hustling, we are trying to sort out our life, we are literally trying to get our ish together and things just aren't working out, or we're failing, or rejections and all this stuff. This is definitely a book to get because it will pick you right up. The last book I'll recommend is Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. It's a self-discovery journey. It's about a Brahmin's son, and his name's Siddhartha, and he's very curious. He just feels like he doesn't have answers to any of the questions he has, you know, with his upbringing being from a Brahmin family, with his father as a priest, and with the teachers around him teaching him like the scriptures and the Vedas. He just feels like he's not getting any answers at all. So he becomes a samana, and a samana is a person who's an ascetic beggar, and who you'll see look like they're homeless, technically homeless, but they're not homeless. They're people who've given up their personal possessions. They have disconnected themselves from anything materialistic to do with the world. They don't undergo any sensual pleasures. They do all these things because they want to reach spiritual enlightenment. And so he becomes one of those people, he becomes a samana. And by doing that, he fasts, you know, he meditates a lot, like long hours, he abstains from a lot of things. And you see him just go through all of that, you know, like what he learns from not having everything and what he learns spiritually, like how it affects his soul and like how he's growing by going through all of those things in order to reach this thing called enlightenment. But obviously at the time he doesn't know that it's enlightenment. It's more so him trying to find things or be something that will just satisfy himself and fulfill his soul. So like I said, he comes from a religious upbringing. He's, you know, from a Brahmin family. He then becomes a samana, and then after he becomes a samana, he's going through different phases of life. He then becomes a businessman, and you know, he has this extravagant lifestyle. He's very wealthy, he's gambling, he's, you know, going through all of this, and he's overindulging in sexual pleasures. So he realizes by going through all of these phases, he's just not satisfied, he's just not fulfilled. His soul's just, it's just nothing is giving him true inner peace. And eventually he does reach enlightenment. Eventually he does find what he's looking for, but I don't want to say that because that's going to spoil the book. What this book has taught me is the journey and how it really portrays how we plan our life. We're either very wealthy people, we're very entrepreneurship, or we're kind of the total opposite. Like we don't want any of the materialistic stuff. Like everyone is going through their own phase, and once they've gone through that phase, you may realize this is not what I wanted. Like this has not fulfilled me like I thought it was. And it's just a whole journey. And I think that's what spirituality is. It's not necessarily reaching enlightenment itself and reaching that ultimate inner peace level, but also it's going through that journey and really discovering what you want out of life, what's going to satisfy you, what's going to fulfill your soul, and just going through all those different phases. So I would highly recommend this book, especially if you don't know anything about spirituality but you want to get into it or you want to grow spiritually. Siddhartha's the same. Like, he didn't really know what all of this was, and you could literally go through that journey with him, and whilst he's learning, you'll also learn more about that and you'll gain knowledge from this book too. So it's really good. I'd highly recommend it, and it's one of my favourite books, and that's why it is one of the 3 books that have changed my life. That's basically it. I hope I've explained these books really well. It is my first book video, so I know I'm kind of all over the place, or I might not have explained anything as well as I should have or could have. I've written down notes and I don't even think I said half the stuff that I have. I probably waffled. Thank you for watching, and I promise every time I do a video and practice more, I'll be less awkward and less weird. It's just I'm literally like, whoa, you know? But yeah.